was born. So it's a lot older than me. So right now I'm going to teach what popping is. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. Take a look around, you'll see the sign. I said walk towards the river, please the gates of the mind. As we transcend, leading it, Mother Earth all the time.
In case you haven't been, Senegal sits at the most westernmost post in Africa. So that's the furthest west you'll get. The capital city is Dakar, and it's a very vibrant country. For your information, Senegal is 98% Muslim country, which is very interesting when you put that into context, having hip-hop in your mind. So how come in a 95% Muslim country, a hip-hop scene has managed to thrive and is known as the third most important hip-hop scene in the world? That's in terms of, people practicing it and rappers and singers all involved in hip-hop activities.
From my own personal opinion, watching that film the first time, I was really impressed by the content of the lyrics, and I thought the lyrics are very conscious, and I was actually surprised because I thought it was going to be them just aping Americanisms and just trying to sing about what Americans sing about and just not really getting there. I think for us, I felt kind of, not ashamed is too strong a word, but I felt kind of like, well, what are we doing? We had, from what I can remember, the last person I remember who actually was close to being political and hip-hop in this country was Miss Dynamite. She kind of tried it a little bit. Exactly. She tried it, and then it kind of just flopped for her. And we don't really have that same kind of culture. We have loads of young people, we have grime coming up, and they speak about their areas, they speak about what's happening in their particular postcode area or whatever, but they don't actually speak about the big issues. And there is no unity, as you mentioned. There is no kind of like they're saying, actually, in my area there's a lot of knife crime, in my area there's a lot of knife crime as well. Why don't we all get together and actually petition number 10, or why don't we get together and actually speak on a bigger level? That's how I saw it. I thought, we could be, they're showing us the way forward, unfortunately, and we probably have to learn from that.
As a kind of teacher of hip-hop, is that your feeling, KMT?
Not at all. Basically, I actually, to me, this is not new to me. I've actually been in hip hop from its inception. I actually lived in New York when it kind of emerged, and living in London, I would say that there's lots of artists that have been politically active. I'd say in the UK, this is like the third wave of artists coming out, and grime is like the third generation of hip hop artists. What happened in the first instance, all the artists in the UK were very political. Catch-22, Mello, MCD, list is endless. My group performing later on, they're from that legacy as well. They're from West London. If anyone knows about the history of hip hop in London, West London with the carnival is synonymous with that political activity. 1958 was the date when the riot happened, etc., etc. So they're from that area and they're performing as well. The difficulty again is the exposure. The support as well. And I think that, there are loads of artists that are doing it, but because of the way in which, I don't want to say the industry, because I think that takes responsibility or takes away our power and our ability to do stuff, and I think that's disempowering. But we do know that people are, from a music point of view, people focus on commercial motives in producing music, not music. So therefore, the artists that are talking about consciousness, like MCD basically, is one example of a guy that's just amazing. He talked about the Queen and talked about it in a derogatory way. He ended up being sectioned, and he got dealt a certain way, and he's never been the same since. Many people don't even know this story, but this is one of the most powerful people in the UK today. He talked about a lot of this stuff. My group got to remember Ashiba and the African Revolution. We talk about all that stuff. David J, El Crisis, the list is endless. But we don't get the mass exposure and the mass support that maybe other artists do as well. And for me, it's all about solutions. It's all well and good looking and blaming, but what are we doing? Yeah. What is our responsibility? I'm trying to be self-sustainable. That's what we do. So that means we grow our own food, we're trying to get our own electricity, we're trying to come off the grid so we can be completely independent. But it takes a lot of work, it takes a community of people, but we're not getting massive media attention about what we do. We don't expect that, we're just doing it. And I think we all of us collectively we are government, we are the politicians, we are the journalists. We all can contribute to the change of what hip hop is. We are what hip hop is, and we can define what it is as well. And I think we can do a lot.